1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Trial by Error Variety Show podcast. I'm your host, Chasnick Crab, talking to you from Bandera, Texas, cowboy capital of the world. Got to talk to a notable singer-songwriter. That's right. She's been around the world. She's been a lot of places. She even competed on The Voice. So she's been on TV. But she's got some really awesome, a really awesome body of work, and I'm going to share a little bit of it with you, like I always do. There's 6 songs in here. Her name is Rebecca Loebe, and she is from Georgia. She considers the hill country her second home base, though. She said it herself. You can hear it in the interview. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. Enjoy the music. I'll talk to you after the interview. Enjoy the show.
Call in work, tell them you're sick. There's no way I'll let you out of this bed till you tell me all the things I want to know. Where was your first kiss? Who was your first love? When did you make it first? And out of what emotion did it grow? What good is tiptoeing? Either way, this bridge is going. 10,000 days of chaos, and my mouth would not betray us. I promise you, I promise this. 10,000 nights of silence, you got my complete compliance. I'll keep your secret safe, you'll see. Oh, just save one for me. You showed me yours, so I'll show you mine. I was in love once, but it was not blind. Opened a side of me I hope you'll never see. And everyone chimed in like everyone does. I was advised till I gave up on love. That's where you found me. That first night I spilled my drink on your date. Good girls get good cages. Come on, baby, I can take it. 10,000 days of chaos, and my mouth would not betray us. I promise you, I promise this. 10,000 nights of silence, you got my complete compliance. I'll keep your secret safe, you'll see. Oh, just say one for me. Call in work, tell 'em you're sick. There's no way I'll let you out of this bed. 10,000 days of chaos, and my mouth would not betray us. I promise you, I promise this. 10,000 nights of silence, you got my complete compliance. I'll keep your secret safe, you'll see. Oh, just say one for me.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, awesome. Great connection on your end.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that never happens right out the gate.
Am I set up? I'm set up on just audio. Is that okay?
That's totally fine. Yeah. The podcast is all audio anyway, so I've been following your career since I met you at the folk festival. And
At Kerrville?
The Kerrville
I love
Folk
your Head
Fest.
to the Hills shirt.
Yeah, thank you. That's
I feel like weird. I can see you, but you can't see me. It feels like a strange.
Oh yeah, the watcher.
Yeah, I'm a voyeur right now.
That's cool though. I like that. That's I have to be careful though what I do.
I'm into it.
I like I said, I've been following your career, and I got the album Blink, and I love it. It's beautiful, and there's a lot of differences in that and your other stuff. And I guess
Yeah.
it's kind of feels like you scaled back a little bit.
In a way. Yeah.
Not any lyric wise or anything like that. Just as far as production, like there's a lot less going on as far as people crammed into the studio making all kinds of really awesome arrangements. It's more just a singer-songwriter stripped down, focus on the storyline, is what I got from it. Tell me about it. Where are you coming from it?
Well, you nailed it. I mean, that's exactly what I was going for. I think that with each album I've done, I've sort of gone in with a parameter that I've just kind of made up for myself. And with my older record, Mystery Prize, the parameter was I want to use all acoustic instruments. So it's all, upright bass, fiddle, acoustic stuff. And then with Circus Heart, it was I want to make the weirdest noises we possibly can. So I'm in the studio with Matt the electrician. We're playing all these old synthesizers and using, keys and jars of beans and door jams as our percussion instruments and, just really getting weird. And then with this record, I said, I want to make a 5-piece rock band record that I can recreate live on stage with 5 people. Mm-hmm. I just sort of wanted to tie my hands behind my back a little bit and not let myself get as far down the studio rabbit hole as I often like to go when I'm in the studio, because you can just keep recording and keep layering and keep digging forever. And, would it sound better with a glockenspiel here? Or maybe we should add an accordion, or, you know what, let's email this to the guy in LA. He's such a great trumpet player. Like, he could do something cool on that bridge there. And yeah, there's an infinite number of possibilities and ways to express the story of the song. But instead of indulging myself to explore all those possibilities, I wanted to sort of limit myself to just using the talent and creativity of the collaborators that I had, who were playing electric bass, electric guitar, acoustic guitar, keyboards, drums, and some really righteous harmony singers, and just get everybody to do those things as best as we possibly could, and to just dive as deep as we could with just those instruments.
Yeah, it's such just a fine focus on what you can do, and then really giving it to those guys to just kind of let them fill in the blanks. How much of that is you in those recordings, in this particular recording? Because I know you're multi-instrumentalist. How much of this?
Right. Well, the primary goal for this album was to just tell the stories of the songs. So we got together the day before we went in the studio and did a rehearsal with the rhythm section, with the drummer, the electric guitar, or actually we didn't have electric guitar at that point, drums, bass, and acoustic guitar and piano. And on this album, I'm not playing acoustic guitar. Will Robertson, who produced the record and has been a longtime collaborator, is playing for 2 reasons. 1, he's great at it. And 2, he's really good at it. He brings his own styling, and I think is good at hearing what I do when I play live and when I wrote the songs to bring the best of what I already know how to do and bring his talent and great tone to the record. So I didn't feel in any way weird handing over the reins on that. But that allowed us the flexibility to keep some of the vocal performances from the original sessions. Yeah. I wanted to capture as much rawness as we possibly could. And, with multi-tracking, you can re-record everything later. So it's very typical to record the rhythm section, bass, drums, guitar, with scratch vocals that are sort of like a guide, but then go back and re-record all of the vocal parts. And I'm sure you know this. I don't know who's listening to this podcast. But for me, logistically, I mean, I have a background in audio engineering. I worked as an audio engineer before I was a full-time touring songwriter. So I've been grappling with this one conundrum for 15 years. And that conundrum is, if I go into the studio with my acoustic guitar and I play the acoustic guitar and sing while the drummer and the bass player are doing their thing, I either have to get every note perfect on the acoustic guitar and the vocals, and then we keep them forever, or I have to re-record both of them.
Yeah.
So that would be go back, re-record the acoustic guitar, and then go back and re-record the vocal. Because if they're not note for note perfect, like if, for example, I sneeze in the middle of the second verse, or my finger gets stuck on something, or in the 10th hour on the third day, my voice is kind of hoarse and I don't really like deliver the emotion of the song as well as I could, then we can't just replace the vocals because it's got bleed from my guitar in it and vice versa. So to avoid that problem is the main reason that we had Will play. And also, he's a great guitar player.
Yeah, it definitely, everything blended together so good. It's kind of, that's a lot of pressure to be doing that. It's amazing, though, that with Pro Tools, we don't have like a sneeze cut. It's amazing in this day and age.
Just use the sneeze filter.
Come on, man. You didn't have that running? You know I got allergies. Like, we talked about this.
The Cedar sees that. Come on. No, and we did use some of the original. I'm trying to think of which performances. Forever Young Forever is a scratch take from the studio. It was just like really laid back and really in the pocket. And just that was one where it just didn't feel like we were going to do any better by overdubbing. Like it accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. So we left it from the roughs. And then another one was Blink. That was a single take, like the actual title track of the record. That was we punched a couple things on that one in the second verse because I rewrote the lyrics like the day before we were done tracking the album. I was like, oh, I know what I want to say in the second verse now. And so then it was like this challenge of being 1,000 miles from where we had originally recorded it 6 months later and having to set up a different microphone in a different space and get me in a similar headspace to like match it. Yes, but Will Robertson can do anything, so I think he did flawlessly.
Man, yeah, I couldn't even tell. There's no way.
Yeah. There's like 8 or 10 words that I subbed in.
Man, that's really cool. That's interesting. I'm gonna really pick that one clean.
Now the song Forever Young Forever off of the brand new album Blink by Rebecca Loebe. Available at RebeccaLoebe.com.
Sawed off at the door, candles burned and records
Forever Young Forever, though, I'm curious, what else? You said you spent all day making that mixtape. Like, I'm wondering what else was on that, even if it's fictional. Like, tell me, like, what is on
What
that
did a Rebecca
mixtape?
Loebe high
Yeah.
school mixtape include?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was interesting because I would deep dive on artists and make, like, if I was really into Might Be Giants, for example, when I was in high school. I was really into Bare Naked Ladies. I was really into Ani DeFranco. I was really into Cake. So I would do a deep dive, like take all my CDs from whoever it was and put together the playlist of that one artist's songs that I thought was most likely to get my friend converted over to liking that band.
Yeah.
So I'd like open with the hit, like the one they might have heard on the radio, and then follow it up with a song that was even better that they hadn't heard on the radio, and then go with something like really weird and like left field. Like They Might Be Giants has this really weird song called Dr. Worm that I just love. That's one of my favorite songs. And so I'd always like give that early play, and so then I was really into mixtapes, so I'd make like a deep dive single artist mixtape. I was kind of a ninja at that, and then like really go to town on the liner notes, like handwriting everything and like collaging the other side. But then they were also a never to be underestimated weapon of flirtation. So then I would make sort of a mixtape that was more what you would think of as a traditional mixtape, where you want to like show off how cool you are, basically. Like you're flirting with someone, you want to just be like, look at all of the interesting music I've heard of and how compatible we are and how many things I have to offer you that you didn't even know were missing from your life.
How introspective I am.
Exactly. I'm sensitive but also fun. And yeah, I threw a couple of Otis Redding songs on there because you know what I'm thinking about.
We're flirting after all. This got to go somewhere.
And so I was really into it. Was funny though, because towards the end of my high school days / mixtape making career,
the end of
Napster
tapes.
came up. The end of tapes, period. Yeah, well, it was weird. It was a time when Napster had just started existing. So it's like the late 90s. MP3s and Napster exist. Also, I'm still making mixtapes. So I would go on to Napster and get these like very strange, like kind of just obscure tracks that I couldn't track down on a CD or a tape pre-MP3. Things like Go Ninja Go, the Vanilla Ice demo.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Exactly. It was perfect for a high school mixtape because it was like, seemed old enough, like 6 or 8 years. But, when you are 16, 6 years ago is an eternity because you were just like a kid then and now you're a worldly 16-year-old. So I'd like deep dive back to the early 90s, grab some weird shit off Napster. I don't know if I can say that on your podcast. Then I'd put that, take it from Napster MP3, burn it onto a CD, and then play it into my tape deck to put it on mixtape.
That's where the ninja part comes in, right there.
Yeah, that is where the ninja part comes in.
Similarly to digging in sort of in a retro, like to get the nostalgia to grab hold, I would, at the same time, I had Kazaa. So I didn't ever have Napster, but I did have Kazaa, which, that ruins a lot of computers. But when it was functional, I had all the theme songs from all the old 80s and 90s cartoons and stuff, and we would just drive around and blast those like Power Rangers cruising down the road, and stuff that we kind of neglected as kids, and really got to know the show through the theme song. Like the theme song made us more interested. Like, we gotta go watch this cartoon,
Oh yeah.
Just everywhere's the beach.
Actually, sometime back then, like late 90s, there was a compilation CD that came out that was like modern bands of that era re-recording those Saturday morning theme songs. And someone did Let the Sun Shine In, and like, let's see, Let the Sun Shine In.
I do remember that coming out.
Yeah, there's like, my mommy told me something a little kid should know. It's all about the devil, and I learned to hate him. So all those kinds of things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't remember what that series was, but on that, though, one of my favorite bands growing up was Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Because just
they were great for mixtapes.
Yeah, they did the best covers. You could slip the original version in on side A, and then side B at the very end have the cover. Like, what? You didn't see that coming, did you? That's right. You didn't know why I had it on the front.
God, you're making me nostalgic for mixtapes. Yeah, I would go from like, like some sort of middle. I don't want to call Tom Petty middle of the road, but some like mainstream, like middle of the road. Like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, like Wildflower '94. You know,
Hmm.
middle school panty dropper to like Louis Armstrong, Mac the Knife, and be like, look at how eclectic and interesting I am, and
Yeah.
then do some Saturday morning cartoon theme, and then play like some like deep ad like knapsack like pre-dashboard confessional like sad
Hmm.
acoustic guitar music.
Yeah.
That was my jam. It was really kind of like a high point of my musical career was my high school mixtape making days.
I'd say so. It's definitely a good start to all of it. Just you were really filling your head full of awesome stuff, and you were doing your part to, show your friends like, hey, there's more out there than what's on the radio. Which is kind
Oh,
of
absolutely.
that's what this whole podcast is really. Is we're just trying to show people that there's tons of bands making music right now that you probably won't hear on the radio for a few more years because it just takes forever to get discovered. There's just such a vast network. I mean, a vast pool of people, and so few are going to get signed and distributed. So we try to just get people early on here. Try to get anybody
Yeah.
that's released an EP, especially when they're putting in work. Like we see them playing shows and they're promoting themselves on Bandcamp or whatever. We want to get in on that and kind of give them a platform. So
That's a noble mission. I mean, it takes not just a ton of time, but also a ton of money. It just takes so much money to get songs distributed on the radio. And, you don't, I know so many incredible songwriters who will just never have access to the capital you need in order to get a song widely distributed.
yeah, the time is
Sad
different
reality.
now. People have been watching YouTube covers forever and learning how to play guitar, so everybody can play guitar now. And it's not that it's not that there's a ton of bad stuff and nobody's getting signed. It's that there's a ton of really good stuff, and it's so hard to pick through that pool and decide, who's better than the next one. And so it's kind of up to the
I think it's a
artist.
wonderful time for music. I
Hmm.
mean, you hear people talk about how, it's terrible time for music, blah blah blah. I think that the people like it's a kind of rough time for the music industry, but as far
Hmm.
as for music goes, like for people who love to make music and people who love to listen to music, I'm not sure there's been a better time than this because we have access to all current and past music as listeners. There's never been more music available for people to listen to in more format. That's wonderful. There are more people out on the road playing shows, concerts happening than ever before, just more mediums through which to access music. And it's gotten cheaper to create music. The internet has created this like direct distribution link that artists who are willing to chain themselves to their computer all day every day can directly reach people who like their music. If you just have to kind of go out and find them. So I think that like the people that it's tough for right now are the people who are profiting under the old system, but they also happen to be the people who have microphones and access to media, so
That's
they can
right.
complain about how the music industry is dying, but really it's just the industry part that's dying. Music, I think, is thriving. I would make that case.
I definitely agree. It's right now, what living members are left of all the great bands are still playing and touring. I mean, there's even a Beatles still touring every now and then, and
Oh, I know.
so
He's the people's Beatle.
yeah. So it's kind of like we. It's like Ready Player One for music lovers. It's like you can literally just
Yeah.
strap in and go wherever you want in any decade of music now. You can go back to vaudeville, and people have colored in those films now, so you can see like in full color. Like it's amazing. You're right. There's never been a better time. It's really just solely dependent on the determination of the audience. That's what's going to drive you further. Is you may be awesome and you may have done your research, and now you can play like Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page or Rebecca Loebe or whatever, and
Ah,
you have to push yourself to be. You have to raise the bar higher than they did. That's your only chance. So. Let's see. Let's see.
I'm just nodding. You
yeah.
can't see me, but I'm just like, yeah, I feel you. I'm nodding.
Your avatar is smiling. No. Let's see. Oh yeah, are your lyrics autobiographical in this one, or do you get your stories from other people? In the sense that this one kind of sounds. I mean, it just opens up with It's a sad. It's kind of a sad song. I've been there because I just recently got divorced. So,
Sorry.
the whole album isn't like that. So I'm wondering, were these taken from your past? Were these just things that you could channel emotionally and knew were good stories? Are these people in your life? Where did these stories come from Blink?
It's a total mix. I mean, I wanted to get more personal on this record. So even songs that are inspired by other people's stories, like I sort of used other people's stories to channel my own emotions from when I had been through similar things. So Lie, the first track on the album, is a breakup song and about basically loving someone who doesn't love you back. And the impetus for this song was a friend of mine who was sort of involved in a classic love triangle. Boy loves girl, girl loves boy's best friend. Everybody's sad. And he was over at our house chatting with us about it. And I went inside to get us some more wine and left him outside talking with our other friends. And I just, like, in between the side door and the kitchen was my guitar. And I just picked it up and started noodling around. And I just totally abandoned my friend and started writing this song about his heartbreak. It literally just, like, the first couple verses and the chorus just poured out, and then I was like, well, I should probably spend some time chasing this down. Sorry, dude. So
It gave me goosebumps. I just want you to know that song gave me goosebumps. It hit home really hard, and I think it was just
I'm happy and sad to hear that.
Well, it's been 2 years, so it's been a long time, but still those feelings don't you it's like any type of nostalgia, but you just nailed it emotionally. You just have to accept, you just have to accept it because life goes on, and you don't want to be something you're not, so.
Right.
Now the song Easy Money off of the brand new album Blink by Rebecca Loebe, available at RebeccaLoebe.com and iTunes.
Easy money is hard to earn. Sell your soul for a lesson learned. This side of hell don't nothing burn like easy money. Easy money's gonna lie to you. Yeah, that's what lying liars do. Can nobody twist the truth like easy money? Call your mama to say you're sorry. You took a wrong turn on highway robbery. Drop the phone when she starts asking loaded questions like how's your day been? Easy money's a beautiful bitch. Feels so good to scratch that itch. You'll go broke trying to get your fix with easy money. Call your mama to say you're sorry. You took a wrong turn on highway robbery. Drop the phone when she starts asking loaded questions like how's your day been? Easy money, there's no such thing. Just a finger stain from a fool's gold ring. Nothing scars you, nothing stings like easy money.
Yeah.
Well, so there are songs like that on the record that are inspired by other people's kind of sorrows. But as soon as I started writing that song, I was channeling my previous, because I've been through some pretty devastating breakups. So, I was kind of back in those emotions. But there are others that are just much more about like my feelings, my perspective on the world. Forever Young Forever is definitely about like it's like painting a picture of me in high school. The specific events in it, it's not like actually about me making out with someone in a truck by the airport. I went to high school in like a hoity-toity suburb of Atlanta. Like I didn't know anybody with a pickup truck. But if I did know a cute boy with a pickup truck, I totally would have made out with him over by the airport. Like I wouldn't put that past myself when I was 16. So anyhow, there's another song that was like, there are a couple of co-writes on the record, and those are really interesting because then you're sort of pooling from the emotions and observations and experiences of your co-writers. Easy Money is one of those, where that song was actually pretty personal.
It's a good one.
Thanks. I do too. And I'm new to co-writing, but something I like about co-writing is that I allow myself like to feel more pride in a song that I've co-written. Because if I write a song on my own, I'm like, oh, thanks, I'm glad you like it. I think it's pretty good. I hope it's working for you. Like a song like Lie. I'd be like, I can't allow myself to be like, yeah, I think that song's badass. I don't get there emotionally about my own songs that I'm the 100% writer on. I'm just not. I have a little too much self-doubt for that. Or maybe it's just that we're like culturally bred to be humble, and I don't know. Or maybe it's just not that badass of a song. I don't know. But like with Easy Money or Cannonball, like songs that I co-wrote, I get excited about them. I'm like, guys, you got to hear this song. Like, it's the badass song. But I only wrote like a third of it. So I let myself go there emotionally because bragging about it feels like I'm really 2/3 bragging about my other co-writers who are amazing. And yeah, it's been a really interesting experience because this is the first record I have that has co-written songs on it.
Yeah, that's kind of a challenge too, taking on other people's lyrics and putting your passion into it, putting your style into it. And I definitely think that's maybe perceived as easy, like, oh, well, that somebody else wrote that song, but to be able to put your emotion into it and pull it off, and it is somebody else's song, there's a lot of work into that too, which is awesome. It's like acting almost, there's an art to that. So, but
well, what's so interesting about co-writing is everyone's contributing, but it's like, say that you suggest a line, which gives me an idea for a line, and then we've got a third person in the room who gets an idea for a line, and then that line gives you another idea. So now you've contributed 2 lines, but the second one would have never come without the other 2 people in the room. And that's how these co-written songs build. So it's like you can't even really pick it apart and be like, oh, well, I wrote this line, and this line, or I wrote the verse and you wrote the chorus. Because it's like, yeah, I might have come up with this chorus, but I never would have thought of it if you hadn't written that verse. Like, I think of it like especially a 3-way co-write is kind of like 3 poles of a teepee. They're all leaning into each other and they're all holding each other up, and the other 2 don't stand without the third one propping it up.
That's true. I've tried to build a 2-stick teepee. It is impossible. You gotta have a good why.
2 sticks on the ground.
That's just 2 sticks on the ground eventually. Who do you get to travel with? Do you do most of your traveling alone with your band? I mean, aside from your band and your road manager and whoever, do you ever just like bring your best friend along? Have you ever traveled like with family members? How do you? Do people you pick from a lottery? Yeah.
Yeah. No, most of the time it's just me on the road. I'm by myself with my guitar. It's like me, a guitar, 2 suitcases, and a backpack. And it's, so it's sort of traveling light, but it is a lot of stuff to carry on my own. When I'm in Texas and when I'm in Georgia, which are sort of my two home zones, I can tour with a band, and that increases my number of people to keep me company. It also increases my logistical responsibilities. It doubles my income. It quadruples my expenses. Like it's, it's a lot more to organize, and I love it. And it creates a lot more. It's like the power on stage is exciting to me because I'm not responsible for creating all of it. So I can lay back in some moments, but there's still all of this energy connecting. It's just, I love traveling with a band, but I also love traveling by myself when it's like, oh yeah, I can pull over when I want to. I can sleep in if I want. I can get to the car whenever I want to. There's no democracy to it. There's no worrying about other people's feelings or needs or, making sure that everybody agrees on a van call time and not being late. I'm like the solo captain of my ship when I travel alone. So I've taken a few people on the road with me, like a friend will come for the weekend. My brother and my sister, actually both my brothers and my sister have both toured with me. I don't think either of my parents have, and I've definitely taken romantic partners before, but I quickly learned that a tour is not a date. It's like not...
It's too much business. Like we can't know.
Yeah, it's too much business. Well, and the thing have you ever been on tour?
I've dreamed about it my whole life. I have no real concept of what it is.
I could take that dream. I could crush that dream for you in 36 hours.
It's kind of been crushed already. You really couldn't surprise me.
Well, the thing about it, whenever I've taken anyone who's like a non-touring musician on the road with me, the thing that is the most consistent is how disappointed they start to look, like in the middle of the second day. Like, this is what it is, really? Like, it is not all that glamorous.
It's like going with your dad to work and he just, stay in the car, like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
What I love about my job is that on a bad night at work, I still get to sing songs for 2 hours. Like, they're really... I tell myself that all the time because that gives me all the perspective that I need. But it's a lot of work, it's carrying 100 pounds of gear in and out of you're like setting up camp in two different places every day because I load into a venue, carry in all my gear, sound check, set up in the dressing room, set up on stage, set up my merch, have dinner, play the show, hang out with people for as long as I can after the show, tear down, load the car, drive to where I'm sleeping, carry all my stuff inside, set up camp where I'm staying, spend the night, wake up in the morning, put the sheets in the washing machine if I've stayed at someone's house, check out of the hotel if I'm at a hotel, like leave and go try and find coffee and internet for a moment and then drive like between 2 and 10 hours and then get to the venue and do it again.
Man. Yeah. And then somebody's just trying to keep up with you. Like, I thought you said we could use the pool. Like, we're not gonna be here.
We're in Orlando and we didn't get to go to Disney World. We're in DC and we didn't get to go to the Washington Monument. We're in New York and we just tried to get the hell out of town as quickly as possible because the traffic is crazy. Like, I don't typically get to like do the cool stuff in the town that I'm in. It's like literally all I can do to make it to the next town and have not left my keys, wallet, laptop, or guitar behind. Like, as long as I have those 4 things, I'm in good shape. But
or lost an hour looking for them because they were in your suitcase.
Yeah.
I saw your video the other day. That made me laugh.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm constantly losing things. Do you know Raina? You must know Raina Rose.
I don't think so. Mm-mm.
She's so lovely. She's a friend from Kerrville is where I first met her, but she always says that I'm the most organized person she knows.
You're a mess, as they say. You're a mess.
This is the song High and Lonesome off of the album Circus Heart. 2012 album available on iTunes, Amazon, and you can stream it pretty much anywhere. Check it out.
It's another night in the only type of hotel I can afford. The walls all lean on crooked ceilings falling to the floor. It's 2:15 and the front desk queen is hardly amused. She glares at me, imprints a key, and points me to my room. Drift away knowing you be high and I be lonesome. I'll get by in some roadside motel room. You be high and I be lonesome tonight. Oh, tonight. Spent 7 seasons in the minor leagues just waiting for the show. Work a day of it, you might say it's the dumbest job you know. But that ain't fair, there's folks out there who hate the road they hold. Plus lion tamers, Nancy Grace, and the folks that chase tornadoes. Those are dumber jobs. You be high and I be lonesome. I'll get by in some roadside motel room. You be high and I be lonesome tonight. Oh, tonight. You'll be far and I'll be distant. I'll pick fights and you'll resist them quietly. We'll let be bygones. Truth that is like ticking time bombs. You be high and I'll be lonesome. You be high and I'll be lonesome. I'll get by in some roadside motel room. You be high and I'll be lonesome tonight. Oh, tonight. You be high tonight. It's another night in the only type of hotel I can afford.
How long? So it sounds like you're pretty equipped for survival, though, because you have to camp in 2 different places. Like, how long do you think you could make it out in the wilderness on your own?
Until my contacts dried up, and then I would like fall asleep in a bear cave.
You're just like blind out in the woods. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm so blind. Yeah, no, I think about that a lot in like survival movies or like, Castaway where Tom Hanks is on that island. I was like, I mean, I'd be fine until my contact lenses gave out. And then I would just walk off a cliff. Blind as hell.
Oh man, that's a horrifying thing. I'm blessed with 20/20 vision, but yeah, that would definitely put an end to that. You'd have a couple good days, and then it's like you drink the wrong murky water.
Yeah, exactly. Just because you can't see.
Okay, let's see. I have some. Are you a vegan? Are you a meat eater?
I am not a vegan. I did go vegan for a month once just to see what it was like, and it was not for me.
Well, yeah. What was the hardest thing for you to give up? That was my follow-up.
I should say I was vegetarian for 10 or 11 years, but I always ate eggs and dairy, and I even ate a little fish, which I know isn't really vegetarian. But I would say during the month that I was vegan, I mean, I just love cheese so much. Like, cheese was the hardest to give up.
Milk, that's my hardest thing too. And
I love a glass of frosty cold milk.
Mm-hmm. That's what
I did go for a year and a half without eating sugar once, and I do believe that is like the key to a healthier, happy, long life is not eating sugar, especially because like the way food is engineered now has just crazy amounts of secret sugars in them that we don't need. But it's like that adage, like, does it make you live longer or does it just feel longer without sugar?
Yeah. it's so subjective, you know. People are like, "Yeah, I'm done." You're like, "Dude, how old are you?" "I'm 65." I'm like, "You've a long way." Like, or
hope
you could
so.
just eat sugar. Yeah, I don't know. It's sugar's the hardest thing to like. Yeah, what? I don't know anything that doesn't have sugar in it, just besides like a regular, like a cucumber. That doesn't have any sugar. That's the only thing I can think of offhand. The sugar and everything. You're right. It's secret sugar, but I think that it's just more than that. I don't think our bodies want anything else besides sugar, just because that's what we've been force fed.
Well, something that I've read is that there's nothing naturally occurring, in nature that is sweet and poisonous. So the reason that the sweet sensation is so pleasant to our body is because it's like a signal that the food is safe for us to eat. And so I feel like all the manufacturers, by putting sugar in everything from like barbecue sauce to potato chips to bread, are just sort of manipulating us, like using that natural like attraction to the sweet flavor.
You're blowing my mind right now.
Buy stuff. Happy to help.
Dang it.
I know.
They're getting me with everything. I started liking foods I don't even like. It's because of the sugar.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you have two loaves of bread and, one of them has some sugar in it and the other doesn't. People don't realize it has sugar in it, but when they go back to the store to buy one, they're going to, market testing has shown, be more likely to repurchase the one that had a little bit of sugar in it. So why wouldn't these companies sprinkle a little bit of sugar in everything?
Well, that's what they do. It's what they do everywhere. Show business, bring a little bit of sugar in there.
That's what I do. I made a career on it. Just sprinkle a little sugar.
Yeah, you do. Your songs are so cute, man. They're so just like they're so good and so like warm and heartfelt and just all your little nostalgic references. And I think one of the first songs I heard from you was Zombies and Bees. Is that the song?
That's so funny. Right? Bees and Zombies. Yeah. Yep.
That album, or you had an EP. I got it. It's on my Amazon. It's remixes of a lot of that era, right? So that kind of blew my mind too, because I was sitting there just kind of listening to your whole catalog, and then all of a sudden these remixes came on, and I'm going, did I switch over or something? What happened here? And whose idea was that? That's really cool.
It was mine. I wanted to do a remix competition. And that's where the remixes came from. And it was fun. I found a website that let you post remix tracks for a remix competition, and it was kind of early days for that. But I got submissions from all over the world, and it was so fun. I mean, there was no prize really for my quote remix competition, except for possible inclusion on a future EP released by me. And people were like really, enthusiastic and happy to, spend some time on it. And I had to pick winners, which it hadn't occurred to me, like when I put it out there that I was hosting a remix competition, that as a result, I was going to have to like rank them and pick a winner, which I actually was really uncomfortable with, because I was just so honored that people had spent their time and creativity on, reinterpreting a song of mine. It was hard to choose.
Yeah, it's like, guys, I can't put out all 900 of these. Like, I just
yeah. I think I got about 15.
The 15?
Which felt like 100. Like, it felt like a lot.
It does, yeah, because it's a lot of hard work to take that and to put their style into it, and to keep your style there, and to keep your your vision out front. That's really cool. I've heard some really good remixes, and I'm wondering, like, man, I bet you they put that in the contest. They made a contest.
I've been thinking about doing another remix competition, but I couldn't find a website that facilitates it like I found 5 or 6 years ago. I think it got shut down or something. So if you know of any channels for remix competitions, I'm definitely curious.
Well, maybe. You never know what'll open up. This podcast, I get more and more listeners every time. So this is going to be episode 19. I've got one more to put out before you. And I've already had over like 3,000 downloads. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, and I don't really advertise. I kind of put stuff out on all the social media platforms, and I try to be current and active. But as far as paying for promotion, nope, haven't done it. So everything's free, and people just I've had 3,000 downloads, so I'm like, people are listening, you know, and I'm hoping it's a resource for bands and for listeners, and I'm hoping people I hope it fuels their desire to explore music beyond the Pandora and the Spotify and stuff. So it's so cool to have access to the whole world from right here in my little tiny nook.
It truly is incredible. I've been thinking about starting a podcast, actually, featuring like all the cool people I get to meet on the road, because that's sort of my favorite part of what I do is just the people I get to hang with. So what's your what's your podcast advice for a new prospective podcaster?
Just try to keep it candid. I do have notes, and I've always had notes, but what I like to do is just sort of like leave all of my especially if you're talking to other people, just let them talk and leave all of your answers open. That way you're over your course of doing your podcast, people are getting to know you in the little bits and increments, but they only have that one episode maybe to get to know that person. So I always try to just give the floor to whoever I'm talking to. That's one thing that helped me. The next thing, I guess, is make sure that you have a good interface. Don't rely on your internal mics or anything. Make sure you've got a solid interface to have your microphones, because that's killed me in like 3 episodes.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, so other than that, microphones are cheap. Recording software, it's already built into your computer. I'd say go for it, because it's all about storytelling, and podcasts they're not like picking up a lot of steam. So what's cool is right now you can be doing what you do, and there's not a lot of pressure on you. And I'm hoping that one day it does pick up. I'm hoping that it doesn't stay this like hidden form of entertainment, because there's just so much cool stuff out there. But eventually, I hope they'll be looking back on this stuff and going, wow, like there's 100 bands in here that I've never heard on the radio. But I want people to be able to explore music through this venue. Like, they can't wait for the next episode. God, I don't know, Rebecca. We could talk about this all day.
I love it.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
How often do you post?
I try to do every 2 weeks, but then recently I've been trying to build the intermittent episodes. I want to be just straight music episodes instead of interview and music, which I try to do full hours. It'll be a full hour of just solid music from maybe potential bands, maybe bands that I just heard of that I've contacted them to say, hey, can I play one song in an episode? And they agree. Most of the time I don't get answers back, because they're like, who is this dude? No, absolutely not. But so that's my new thing, is every 2 weeks I've got the interview and the showcase for that particular artist, the feature. And then in the spaces in between, I'll put out an hour long of just solid new music that I think is super cool. No commercials.
I love it.
No sponsors. Ad-free listening. And
Wow.
I've also got a Patreon like you. And
I was just about to say thank you so much for signing up to support my Patreon.
You're
that really
welcome.
made my day when I saw you had signed up a couple days ago. Thank you.
It's not much, for what you're putting out there. That's for a lot of people, it's just hard to commit to something new. They've got a ton of stuff. They've got like 9 subscriptions to all kinds of stuff. So I definitely see why it's hard to get Patreon subscribers. But for somebody that really wants to support, for somebody that really believes in the next step and really wants to see more, I think it's more than just the show of money. It's just the show of support in general that people really need to embrace. Even if it's just $1, it just shows like, hey, this person believes in what I'm doing. And your rewards mention that as well. Mine are a little like obscure, but you're very direct. Like, hey, thank you. You've been there from the beginning, and your continued support is why I continue to do what I do. And so it's that kind of transparency that I feel like if you're not looking to truly support an artist, you're not going to see that level of gratitude from the artist. Like when I subscribe to Patreon, or when I go on there and I just look at creators and I look at followers, I look at people who are doing what I'm doing. They're just trying to get by, and they're living in a world full and saturated of what they're doing, and they believe in what they do. And true supporters will believe in what you do too, and they'll follow along.
And now the song Lie, off of the brand new album Blink by Rebecca Loebe. Available at her website, RebeccaLoebe.com.
So much for good goodbyes. I mumble as you try to paint the door shut on your way. I wonder where time flies. Do birds take the months by the wing and show them how to disappear? And if so, why'd they leave me here? If all I have to do is promise not to love you, all I have to do is lie. If all I have to do is promise not to love you, all I have to do is lie. Lie awake and cry. Lie awake and I've tried more, I've cared less, I've prayed for forgiveness, I've been a cold voice on the phone, but that don't make me less alone. If all I have to do is promise not to love you, all I have to do is lie. If all I have to do is promise not to love you, all I have to do is lie. Lie awake and cry. Lie awake and all I have to do is, all I have to do, all I have to do is lie. All I have to do is, all I have to do, all I have to do is lie. All I have to do is, all I have to do, all I have to do is lie. All I have to do is, all I have to do, all I have to do is lie. If all I have to do is promise not to love you, all I have to do is lie. If all I have to do is promise not to love you, all I have to do is lie. If all I have to do is promise not to love you, all I have to do is lie. Lie awake and cry. Lie awake and cry.
How long have you been on Patreon? I didn't know you were on there.
About a month.
Okay.
Yeah, I
you.
just sort of we do a live show here, and it's been extremely hard for me to pull that together for a fourth year in the row. It's been out of my own pocket, and I work as a construction worker by day, so all this stuff is all just extra, and obviously I've got 4 kids and whatever. So in years past, I've put my income check into it, and it's worked out good, but it costs a lot more, and the bands, like, to get notable bands, you got to pay them, and I believe in that. I want to pay them, and I have so many bands say, well, we'll do it for the love, and that's really cool, and I really want that, but it's kind of the same bands over and over again. So
Right.
I want to reach out. I want to hire bands from all over to travel, and I want to introduce Bandera to new music because it's mostly just country western here, which is great, but it's all country western. So the Trial by Air show is it's non-genre specific. So our platform is usually anything but country, although we will allow it. I have had country on there because it is non-genre, but we try to emphasize on like we want other music. We want reggae and rock and hip hop and all the stuff that Bandera has no access to live. They can see it all they want. But so yeah, so I've got since I've been doing this, I've had a lot more bands say like, "Hey, if you ever do a live show, we'll come play." And I believe them in that. So I would love to have a really good show down here that is very, I don't know, just it's new. I want to expand the scene. I want the scene to blow up down here. So
I love that. I wish there was one of you in every town.
there should be. I encourage it.
Keep me posted. I love the hill country. I feel a real connection to that part of the world. So if you're doing another live show, I'd love to know about it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely, when I go to plan another one, I will definitely look at your tour schedule and whatever you're doing and try to squeeze you in. That would be super awesome. I think everybody would love it.
I would be delighted.
But let me tell everybody where to get your stuff here. Go to RebeccaLoebe.com for tour dates, merchandise, your story, some photo galleries, and way more. And for our local folks, September 24th, you're going to be here in San Antonio at the Liberty Bar with Becca Kelso.
Kelso, yeah.
Awesome.
Becca loves Becca.
Becca loves Becca. It's going to be
two Beccas for the price of one.
That's, oh man, that's a great deal. At the Liberty Bar too, which is super cool. That's a really cool place.
I've never been. I'm excited to check it out.
That's the artsy side of town. So when you set up and you're like, you already got your camp set up backstage, walk around. There's like some really cool spots right there on the Riverwalk that are really beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And let's see. You have tons of tour dates. Like you're busy. You really are. Like, and you're driving yourself, so you've got to be tired. Kudos for that.
Not as tired as the parent of 4 kids, but yeah.
That gives me stamina. That's why I'm never tired. I can't sleep now.
Yeah.
I never sleep. It was super awesome to actually talk to you and not just like approach you like, can we take a picture and tell me about that video that all the information's already in the thank yous right there.
You are so kind. Thank you for inviting me to do this.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I will have you back anytime. So next album, let's talk about the next album for sure. And we'll keep talking about this album. I'll keep sharing it, and I'll throw some music into my next radio episode for sure.
Please, thank you for playing it and for diving into the record and for hopping on the Patreon thing. That really means a lot to me.
Well, you're welcome.
I appreciate you. Make sure next time I see you at the festival, say hi. If there's any chance you can make it out to the San Antonio show, I'd love to see you there.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually going to try to make it to that. That's the last day.
I don't know if there's a cover deal for that, but I'd be happy to put you on the guest list. Just let me know.
I got it, girl.
You're VIP.
Bizzle. Hey, what is the 24th, right? That's a Thursday night?
Sunday, the 24th. It's a Sunday.
A Sunday. Okay, good. Because that's going to be, I'm wrapping up. I'm shooting for Utopia Fest. I'm shooting pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be coming straight from there to San Antonio.
It's the weekend of Utopia Fest. Mm-hmm. It's the Sunday of Utopia at 6:30.
Enjoy the rest of your night and try to relax and don't burn yourself out. I know your schedule.
I'm flying to Kansas City tomorrow, but tonight I'm about to go see my friend Jason Weems play a little show.
Good. All right. We'll get you some wine and have yourself a good time.
All right. You take care. Good luck with those kiddos.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
Now the song The Bees off of Bees and Zombies EP. Available pretty much everywhere. This was the first song that I had ever heard by Rebecca, and I thought it was super cute and super insightful, and I hope you guys do too. It's going to be the last song. I hope you guys have enjoyed all the music. Check it out pretty much wherever you stream. Her last name is Loebe, if you're wondering how to spell that. Anyway, this is the Bees.
Have you heard about the bees? I asked a stranger on the bus. He took another empty seat. Unexpected and alone, they're disappearing now en masse. No one knows what's happening or even who to ask. I thought you'd like this kind of crisis, 'cause when the zombies come, you'd be all I need. Mad as Max and half as mean. I promise not to run, you'll find me where I am, but baby, I forgot the plan. In all the books you've read to me and all the songs we've sung, have you ever seen a beast as fierce as unrequited love? It'll hang you by your toenails, it'll kick you once you're down, swear to kill your parents if you make a single sound. It's bound to happen any second, 'cause when the zombies come, you'd be all I need. Mad as Max and half as me. I promise not to run, you'll find me where I am, but baby, I forgot the plan. I'll go alone. Like my beloved Brontosaurus, they pulled Pluto from the sky. But none of that seemed serious compared to you and I. The bees begin a chapter now in human history, undoubtedly to go down as apocalyptic pre. Oh, how can no one see this omen? 'Cause when the zombies come, you'd be all I need. Mad as Max and half as me. I promise not to run, you'll find me where I am, but baby, I forgot the plan. Have you heard about the bees? A stranger asked me on the bus. I took another empty seat.
Rebecca Loebe, you're such a sweetheart. I wish you much luck, many blessings along your journey. I will definitely be at the show next Sunday, September 24th, at the Liberty Bar in San Antonio. You will see me there. I will take some pictures and post them up on the Trial by Air social media platform. Also, Rebecca Loebe is going to be featured on our website from now on forever in the featured artist profile. So if you didn't catch any of the links or anything in these show notes, you need a place to get her music and dig deeper. They're going to be on www.trialbyairvarietyshow.com. It's a mouthful. That's the email as well. If you want to submit your band, you want to be here, you want to showcase your original work, let us know. We're going to listen to your stuff and figure out where you belong. We definitely want you guys to submit. Just make sure that your music is mixed well enough for us to put it in here. Definitely appreciate all the submissions coming in, and we're going to get to everybody as soon as we can. Talking to a lot of bands right now. Also, it's super hot here in Texas. I don't know if you guys know that. If you've ever heard, if you're not from Texas, it's hot. And it's continually hot until like December. So I'm going to try to get bands into the studio here in Bandera ASAP. But it has to be cool because they melt and then they never leave. They just pass out, and then I got to bury bodies in the backyard, and it gets ugly. So what I'm going to do is try to schedule some live performances, some exclusive live performances right here in the studio for the fall. We're talking like November, late November, December, that kind of thing. If you are local, San Antonio, San Marcos, and you want to be here and you want to give your fans something completely exclusive, you want to showcase your stuff right here, we'd love to have you in our studio. So please come join us. Guess that's it, you guys. It was really fun to talk to Rebecca. And our next episode, we are going to showcase some more music from our friends Clutter Culture from Stockholm, Sweden. They've got the third installation of their 3-part series out. They've also got a new song out right now on SoundCloud. Go check them out. Clutter Culture, one word. This was episode number 19. Clutter Culture is going to be number 20. Thank you guys so much for listening. Take care of one another and follow the golden rule.